So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming for this class. So, our topic is Introduction to Gait. So, a little bit information about me. My name is Qureshi. I'm a sports physiotherapist at Bangalore FC. I've done my MPT sports from Annamalai University, BPT from NILD Kolkata, and I am a certified blood flow restriction therapist, and I'm the founder of Mind Academy. So this is my experience. Currently, I'm working for Bangalore FC. I work for Ashton United FC, Ramglass FC, Lucas Soccer Club, and Calcutta Rugby Club. And little information about Mind Academy. Uh, we started this back in May 2020 to help students gain knowledge and guide them through their journey to be a better professional. So we provide free notes, MPT guidance, free and paid classes. Until now, we have done around 50 plus of webinars. So let's start with gait. First, we'll see what is gait. Gait may be described as a translated progression of the body as a whole produced by coordinated rotatory movement of body segments. So whenever you walk, you you don't only walk on your legs or lower limb. Your whole body segments work. First your lower limb will work, then your hip, then trunk, then arm, then head. Everything works in coordination. So a bit about gait analysis. An analysis of each component of the gait is of three phases of ambulance. Ambulation is an essential part of diagnosis for various neurological disorders and assessment of patient progress during the rehabilitation and recovery of the effects of neurological disease, a musculoskeletal injury or disease process, or amputation of the lower limb. So why is gait analysis important? Because it helps us to diagnose various neurological disorders, then helps us to assess the progress of the patient, like how much patient is progressing, how much we are able to help the patient since they have started a rehabilitation with us, and how much recovery they have gained, and whether the to diagnose and to treat and to say whether lower limb is needed to be amputated or not. Everything comes in gait analysis because even in amputation case, when we use artificial limb, there also we have to analyze the gait pattern, how they can use their upper body segments for the better gait training. So next is the time it takes to walk a specific distance, which is usually 6 meters to or less, that we'll measure. So slower speeds correlate with an increased risk of mortality in geriatric patients. So as we see, mostly as we get old, our speed decreases. Okay, so normal walking speed primarily involves lower extremity with arm, trunk, which provides stability and balance. And then faster speeds in body depends on the upper extremity and trunk for propulsion, balance, and stability, with the lower limb joints producing greater range of motion. So next we'll go for the variables that are present in gait cycle. So there are two variables, spatial variable and temporal variable. Spatial variable is for the distance and temporal for the time. So in distance variable or spatial variables, you have step length, stride width, and foot angle, which is also known as degree of toe out or angle of gait. So as you can see, first is step length. What is step length? Step length is the linear distance from the point of heel strike of one lower extremity to the heel strike of the opposite lower extremity. So you can see here we have, this is the right foot, this is the left foot. So the heel strike of the right foot, distance from the heel strike of the right foot to the heel strike of the left foot, it is known as step length, this area. Okay, so basically it is the distance between corresponding successive points of heel contact of opposite feet. Fine. So what we will find is in normal gait, this length, right step. This is like since we have left leg forward, so it will be called left step length, and here we have right leg forward, so it is right step length. So in normal gait, right step length will be equal to left step length, which is around 2.5 feet or 30 inches. Then stride length. Stride length is the linear distance from the point of heel strike of one lower extremity to the next heel strike of the same. So here, since we started with right, so here again, when we put our right first heel strike first, that will be known as full stride length. So distance between the successive points of the heel contact of the same foot. Okay. So it will be basically double the step length. So in normal gait, around 5 feet, approximately 5 feet. Next, we have stride width. It is the mediolateral distance between the 2 feet. These two are the feet, and you can see this mediolateral distance. So the side to side distance between the line of the 2 feet is called base of gait. So basically, it is between 1 to 3 inch, that is 3 to 8 cm. It is also known as walking base. Then we have foot angle or toe angle. It represents the angle of the foot placement and may be found by measuring the angle formed by each foot's line of progression and a line intersecting the center of the heel and the second toe. As you can see, this line. This line and this line. There are two lines. Okay. So how it is formed? It is found by measuring the angle formed between each foot's line of progression. This line will be the line of progression. Since we started our heel strike here, so this is line of progression. Okay. And a line which intersects, that is center of heel. See, it started from center of heel to the second toe. So this will be the angle. Okay. And normally in male it's like 7 degree, and degree of toe out decreases as the speed of walking increases. So if speed increases, the degree of toe out will decrease. So that was all about spatial variables. Now we will be looking at about temporal variables. Here we have total 8. That is step time, stride time, stance time, single limb time, double limb time, swing time, cadence, speed. So step time. What is step time? It is referred to the amount of time spent during single step. So हम लोग single step में जितना time लेते हैं वो step time होता है. ठीक है? और step क्या होता है? The time between heel strike of one leg and the heel strike of contralateral leg. अगर हम लोग right से start कर रहे हैं, right heel first रखे हैं, और फिर हम जो अपना left heel strike कर रहे हैं, दोनों को बीच में जो time duration पड़ रहा है उसको हम लोग step time बोलते हैं. ठीक है? Stride time. It is referred to the amount of time it takes to complete one stride. So as we have already read what is stride, twice of step length, that will be stride length. So covering that distance, the amount of time that we are taking, it is called stride time. So stride duration and gait cycle duration are same because one stride is equal to one gait cycle. Then stance time. It is the amount of time that passes during the stance phase of one extremity in gait cycle. Okay, and it includes single support and double support. So in gait cycle, we have two phases, stance phase and swing phase. That will be covering later part of the lecture. So the time that passes during the stance phase of one extremity in gait cycle is called stance time. and the amount of time that passes during the swing phase of one extremity in gait cycle, it is called swing time. Okay, normally the stance time is 0.6 second and swing time is 0.4 second. Now, single limb time and double limb time. Single limb time is the amount of time that passes during the period when one extremity is on the supporting surface in the gait cycle. Okay, normally uh, when we walk in the swing phase, our right leg is on ground, but left leg is in the air. Okay, so the amount of time the right leg is in the ground is called single limb support. And similarly, double limb support, when both our limbs are on the ground, and there the time, how much time, for how much duration it is there, it is known as double limb time. The percentage of time spent in double support decreases as the speed of walking increases. So as we start the increase the speed, the time spent in the double support will decrease. And last we have cadence. What is cadence? It is the number of steps per unit time. Okay, like in a minute, how much steps you're covering. Normally, it's 100 to 115, and there might be some variation due to cultural and social variation, and also the type of sports one plays. The speed or velocity, distance covered by the body in unit time. Okay, it is usually measured in meter per second. So instantaneous velocity varies during gait cycle. Okay, so the average velocity, that is meter per minute, is equal to step length in meter into cadence, that is steps per meter. So average walking speed is equal to 18 meter per minute. Okay, so these are like we discussed about spatial and temporal variables of the gait cycle. Next, we'll go for determinants of gait. This part is mostly important. It will be important in our gait analysis. So I will discuss in detail about this in our next lecture on the gait. Okay. So what is determinant? Determinant is a various movement occurs in the body, including pelvis, knee, and ankle to maintain center of gravity of the body in a horizontal plane and ensure smooth pathway of gait. Means this is simple. How the different body segments, pelvis, knee, hip, trunk, arm, everything move to maintain a balance in our gait. So there are six major determinants of gait. That is pelvic rotation, pelvic tilt, knee flexion stance space, foot mechanics, knee mechanics, and lateral displacement of the body. Okay, how our pelvic rotation takes place, how much pelvic tilting is there, knee flexion, and using all these determinants, we basically analyze the gait and see what deviations are present and how we can help our patient. And some minor determinants are neck movement and swinging of arms. So, gait cycle. It is a repetitive pattern involving steps and stride. So, I hope till this everything is clear. You can just write down in the chat section. And if my speed is towards higher side, you can just tell me. I will just try to speak a bit slow. Because this lecture is divided into three parts. First, the variables. Then we'll discuss about the gait cycle, and then pathological gait. So till the first part, I hope everything is clear. Okay, thank you. So now we'll move to our second part of the lecture, that is gait cycle. It is a repetitive pattern involving steps and strides. Okay. So gait cycle phases. Here, as you can see, there are two phases, there are two terminologies. First is classical gait terms and new gait terms. New gait terms, also known as Tancho Los Amigos. Okay, so classical gait terms, we have heel strike, foot flat, mid stance, heel off, toe off, acceleration, mid swing, and deceleration. And ranchos, we have initial contact, loading response, mid stance, terminal stance, pre swing, initial swing, mid swing, and late swing. Okay, so almost they are similar, but just terminology are different. And we'll be basically discussing on this classical gait terms. Okay. Next, so gait cycle. So as you know, gait cycle have two phase, stance phase and swing phase. What is stance phase? It begins at the instant that one extremity contacts the ground and continues only as long as some portion of the foot is in contact with the ground. Okay, when there is some portion contact in the ground, it's called stance phase. Okay, as you can see here, here we have heel strike, that is beginning of the stance phase. Then we have foot flat. It occurs immediately following heel strike when sole of the foot contacts the floor. Then we have mid stance, the point at which the body passes directly over the reference extremity. Then heel off, the point following mid stance at which time the heel of the reference extremity leaves the ground. Okay, and toe off, the point following heel off when only the toe of the reference extremity is in contact with the ground. And in swing phase, it begins as soon as the toe of one extremity leaves the ground, as soon as the toe off starts, okay, and ceases just before heel strike or contact of the same extremity. Okay, when it goes back to the heel strike position, that is swing phase. So it has three portions: acceleration, mid swing, deceleration. The portion of the beginning swing from the moment the toe of reference extremity leaves the ground to the point when the reference extremity is directly under the body. Okay, acceleration. When it starts, it is acceleration. Then when it reaches in the mid portion, that is the reference extremity passes directly below the body. This is the body. Okay, when it passes below the body, it is called mid swing. So mid swing extends from the end of acceleration to the beginning of deceleration. Okay, so deceleration, the swing portion of the swing phase when the reference extremity is decelerating in preparation of the heel strike. Means when we go into heel strike, that is deceleration. As you can see, acceleration, that is mid swing just below the extremity, reference extremity, okay, and deceleration. Okay, now we'll just discuss about some biomechanics. Okay, I think the lecture will end soon. Okay, so just join again. I will again share the, or you can join again through the same link only. Okay, so first we'll go for heel strike. So 30-degree flexion of hip. When we go in heel strike, there is 30-degree flexion of the hip. It goes into 30-degree flexion with full extension of the knee. Ankle move from dorsiflexion to neutral, that is supinated 5-degree position, into plantar flexion. Okay. After this, what happens? The knee flexion 5-degree begins and it increases just as plantar flexion of the heel increased. Fine. Then plantar flexion is allowed by eccentric contraction of tibialis anterior. Okay, how is plantar flexion allowed? It is the tibialis anterior. Then extension of the knee is caused by contraction of quadriceps and flexion by hamstring. So flexion of hip is caused by contraction of rectus femoris. Okay. Knee extension through quadriceps, knee flexion through contraction of hamstring, and flexion of hip through rectus femoris. So muscles involved here are tibialis anterior, quadriceps, hamstring, and rectus femoris. Then what happens is body absorbs the impact of the foot by rolling into pronation. Hip moves slowly into extension. caused by a contraction of adductor magnus and gluteus maximus muscle. Okay, so hip will move into extension. How? So contraction of adductor magnus and gluteus maximus muscle. Then knee will flex into 15 to 20 degree of flexion and ankle from 10 degree to 15 degree of plantar flexion. In mid stance, hip moves from 10 degree of flexion Hello, am I clear? So mid stance. In mid stance, what happens is hip moves from 10 degree of flexion to extension by contraction of gluteus medius. So here hip is moving from 10 degree of flexion to extension by contraction of the gluteus medius muscle. Okay, the knee reaches maximal flexion and then begins to extend. Fine, this thing. It will go to maximum flexion, then it will extend. Ankle will become supinated and dorsiflexed by 5 degree, which is caused by some contraction of triceps surae muscles. During this phase, the body is supported by one single leg. Okay. At this moment, body begins to move from force absorption at impact to force propulsion. So here it will absorb the force, then it will propulse. Propulsion will be there so that the other limb moves forward. So here we have gluteus medius muscle working, triceps surae working. Okay. And next, heel off. It begins with the when the heel leaves the floor. So body weight is divided over the metatarsal head. Okay, so here metatarsal head. All the body weight will be divided over them. Then 10 to 13 degree of hyperextension will be there, which then goes into flexion, and knee becomes flexed by 0 to 5 degree. Okay, and then ankle supinates and plantar flex. Then toe off a pre-swing. Hip becomes less extended, knee is flexed 35 to 40 degree, plantar flexion of the ankle increases to 20 degree, and toe leaves the ground. Then early swing, here hip will extend to 10 degree and then flexes due to contraction of the iliopsoas muscle, 20 degree with lateral rotation. Okay, here iliopsoas muscle will contract and that it will flex. Okay, to 20 degree of lateral rotation will be there, 10 degree extension, then flexes due to iliopsoas muscle, and then 20 degree with lateral rotation. Okay. Then knee flexes to 40 to 60 degree. Ankle goes from 20 degree plantar flexion to dorsiflexion to end in a neutral position. And then we have mid swing. Hip flexes to 30 degree. Okay. By contraction of adductors. Here adductors will contract. And the ankle becomes dorsiflexed due to contraction of the tibialis anterior muscles. Fine. Hip will flex due to contraction of adductors, and ankle becomes dorsiflexed due to tibialis anterior muscle. The knee flexes to 60 degree, but then extends approximately 30 degree due to contraction of the sartorius muscle caused by quadriceps muscle. Then late swing, hip flexion 25 to 30 degree, log extension of knee, then neutral position of ankle. Then I collected some diagrams. See, stance phase has 60%, swing phase is 45%, heel strike or initial contact 0%, foot flat will be 8%, mid stance 30%, heel off 40%, and toe off will be 60% of this area. Then 75% acceleration, 85% mid swing, and 100% deceleration. So this is total 100%. Okay. And next here you can see ankle movement from 0 degree to 5 degree plantar flexion, 10 degree dorsiflexion will be there, then 0 degree plantar flexion, then 20 degree plantar flexion. So same thing here now, knee, it goes from 0 degree to 15 degree, then 5 degree, then 0 degree, then 30 degree here. Then here we have hip flexions. 20-degree flexion, then 15 degree, then 0 degree, then it will go in extension, then 20-degree extension. So as you can see, the same thing that we have already discussed in previous slides. Here it's more in a diagrammatic purpose. Okay. See, we have gluteus maximus when in heel strike, gluteus maximus working, hamstring working, quadriceps working, tibialis anterior working. This foot flat position when heel off is going to see triceps suri, as we discussed earlier. This part is called loading response. This is mid stance. In mid stance, which muscles are working? Gluteus maximus. Then we have quadriceps, and then we have tibialis anterior. Okay. Similarly, in terminal stance, then we have pre-swing, initial swing, mid swings, terminal swings. Okay. So hope this diagram is clear. Next, same, but this time with bit more description, like in initial contact, this phase, which muscle is working, loading response, which muscle is working. Okay. Mid stance, we have gluteus medius, gastrocnemius soleus. Terminal stance, we have gluteus medius, iliopsoas, and gastrocnemius soleus. Okay. Then pre-swing, we have rectus femoris and iliopsoas working. Initial swing, tibialis anterior. Mid swing, tibialis anterior. Terminal swing, mostly hamstring, quadriceps femoris, and tibialis anterior. So here with double limb support, because both the limbs are down. Here we have single limb, so single limb support is there. Then again double limb support. Okay. Hope the diagrams are clear, because whatever that was written there, I just tried to describe in diagrammatic form also, because reading, because seeing diagrams helps to understand better. So hope you understood. So same thing we'll discuss in this. Okay. We'll just cover it as fast as we can, because we can't have one more part of the video. Okay. So in stance phase, what happens to hip? Normal in heel strike to foot flat, it will be 30-degree flexion. Normal muscle action is erector spine, gluteus maximus, and hamstring. Foot flat to mid stance, 30-degree of flexion will be there. So gluteus maximus at beginning to oppose the flexion movement, then activity ceases as the movement changes from flexion to extension. Okay. Then if you go to mid stance to heel off, hip will go in extension, no muscle activity. And heel off to toe off, 10-degree hyperextension to neutral, and muscle acting will be iliopsoas, adductor magnus, adductor longus. Okay. Then what happens to knee? Same, heel stack to foot flat, it will go from 0 degree to 15-degree flexion. Normal muscle action will be quadriceps contact initially to hold knee in extension, then eccentrically oppose the flexion movement to control the amount of flexion. Foot flat, there will be 15-degree flexion to 5-degree of extension. Okay. Quadriceps contract in early part, then no activity is required. Mid stance to heel off, 5-degree of flexion neutral, no activity required. Heel off to toe off, 0 to 40-degree of flexion will be there, and quadriceps required to control amount of knee flexion. Then what happened to ankle and foot? There is 0 to 15-degree of plantar flexion, heel strike to foot flat. Muscles working will be eccentric action of tibialis anterior, which oppose plantar flexion movement. Okay. Then foot flat to mid stance, 15-degree of plantar flexion to 10-degree of dorsiflexion. Ankle will move from plantar flexion to dorsiflexion. Here, gastrocnemius and soleus act eccentrically to oppose the dorsiflexion movement and control tibial advance. Then mid stance to heel off, 10-degree to 15-degree dorsiflexion will be there, same as above. Then heel off to toe off, 15-degree dorsiflexion to 20-degree of plantar flexion. Okay. Ankle and foot will move to plantar flexion from dorsiflexion. Gastrocnemius, soleus, peroneus, brevis, and longus, flexor hallucis longus, contract to plantar flex the foot. Okay. Now we are moving to the last part, that is pathological gait. Hope the second part is also clear to everyone, because here I have some interactive videos also through which you can analyze the gait better. Okay, so total I think 8 pathological gait. So first is antalgic or painful gait. So as the name suggests, this is a compensatory gait pattern adopted in order to remove or diminish the discomfort caused by pain in lower limb or pelvis. Okay, normally when there is discomfort caused in lower limb or pelvis, we'll use this compensatory gait pattern. So what the characteristic feature? Decrease in duration of stand space of the affected limb. So suppose if right leg is affected, in right leg the stand space time will decrease because you're not able to bear the weight due to pain. There is lack of weight shift laterally over the stance limb. So, and also to keep weight of the involved limb. Okay, so weight shift laterally that will reduce so that your whole of the body weight doesn't go to the involved limb or affected limb, and there is decrease in stand space in affected side, which will result in a decrease in swing phase. Okay, so here the small video.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, here patient is facing problem in the left side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why you can see that in left side, he's unable, his stance time, it decreases, but swing phase increases.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. So increases, yeah.
Hmm.
And there is no proper heel strike or foot flat, just
Yeah,
any slap.
true. Yeah. So we'll move to our next one. That is most common that we have seen in our neurological cases, hemiplegic gait. So here there's a spastic pattern of hemiplegic leg. Okay. What happens there? Hip will go into extension, adduction, and medial rotation. As you can see, it is medially rotated. Okay. The knee will go into extension, though often unstable. Ankle in drop foot. This will be foot drop. Okay. With ankle plantar flexion and inversion, which is called equinovarus. Okay. Which is present during both stance phase and swing phase. In both the phase, it will be present. In order to clear the foot from the ground, hip and knee shoulder flex. Okay. As you can see, hip, knee, shoulder, everything is flexed. Okay. So here, but the spastic muscles won't allow the hip knee to flex for the floor clearance. Fine. Normally, what happened? To clear the foot from the ground, hip, knee should flex. Okay. But here, since the muscle was spastic, that will not allow the hip and knee to flex. That's why knee will be mostly in extension position. Okay. So what patient do is patient hides hip and brings the affected leg by making a half circle. Okay. You might have seen in your neurological cases or hemiplegia, they form a circle because they can't flex their hip and knee. Okay. Hence, the gait is also known as circumductory gait. So usually there will be no reciprocal arm swing. Step length tends to be lengthened on the involved side and shortened on the uninvolved side. Since they're making full circle, so you'll see that sometimes step length will increase, okay, from the involved side, but uninvolved side it will be shortened. This is the video. Okay, I hope the it is totally clear. You can see how the patient is moving by a circumdictory gait. There is arm and hand are spastic or floppy. Then she walks on tiptoe or outside the foot on the affected side. Okay. Next, we have fascinating gait. And the fascinating gait is mostly found in Parkinsonism. Okay. So normally the basal ganglia, normal function is to control the muscle tone, planning and programming of normal movements, and control of associated movements like reciprocal arm swing. So these are the functions of basal ganglia. Okay. So when there is lesion in the basal ganglia, there will be Parkinsonism. And what will happen in Parkinsonism? Because of this rigidity, all the joint will go into flexion position with spine stooping forward. If you have seen this Parkinsonism case, the patient might be stooping forward. Then there is a, because this in this posture displaces the COG anteriorly. So COG, it will displace anteriorly. So that's why they will go forward. Okay. And due to loss of the voluntary control over the movement, they lost balance and walk faster as if he's chasing the COG. Okay. They will have like a short step length and they will walk faster. So this is also called fascinate gait, such as shuffling, because there is shuffling of the steps is there. Okay. So shuffling gait also. Fine. Fascinating gait, shuffling gait, Parkinsonism gait. All are same thing. So here we have a video. You can see how is walking. Posture is stoop posture. Okay. Then there is imbalance and control is not there, and it's like you will fall down, and the speed is a bit faster. Next, gluteus medius gait, which is also known as Trendelenburg gait or lurching gait, when one side is affected. Okay. So what happens here is the individual shifts the trunk over the affected side during the stance phase. Okay. When the right gluteus medius or hip abductor is weak, it causes two things. What will happen? The body leans over the left leg. Since right is weak, body will lean towards the left leg. Like you can see, body leaning towards the left leg during the stance phase of the left leg. Okay. And right side of the pelvis will drop. There will be a pelvis drop on the right side when the right side leaves the ground and begins in the swing phase. Okay. So shifting of the trunk over the affected side is an attempt. Why do the patient shift weight towards the affected side? To reduce the amount of strength required of the gluteus medius to stabilize the pelvis. Since right side is weak, all the weight will be shifted to the left side, so right side less weight will be dissipated. So if there is bilateral paralysis, waddling gait or duck gait happens. Here patient lurches to both the side while walking and body sways from side to side on a wide base, which is accessibly shoulder swing, mostly in muscular dystrophy, bilateral OA. Okay, this is a video. Okay, so I hope it's clear. Next, we'll go for gluteus maximus gait. Okay, or that is backward lean of trunk during the flat foot flat phase. See, this is foot flat, and here what happens? Trunk lean backward. Why does it happen? Weakness of the hip extensor, that is gluteus maximus. Gluteus maximus is weak. Okay, so they cannot extend the hip. Reason for deviation: leaning backward during stance phase shifts the body's line of gravity posterior to the hip. Okay, the line of gravity will shift posterior to the hip, so it will reduce the need for active hip extension torque. Okay, so need to hip extension will be reduced. So gluteus maximus gait results from weakness of gluteus maximus. It's characterized by a posterior thrusting of shrunk at the initial contact in an attempt to maintain hip extension. Since they are unable to do hip extension, they will push their abducted leg forward. Okay. The hip extensor weakness also results in forward tilt of the pelvis. Your pelvis will tilt forward, which eventually translates into hyperlordosis of the spine to maintain posture. Okay. Pelvic tilt will increase. Okay, which will lead to hyperlordosis. See here. See how he's walking. He's just thrusting forward. Okay. See, this part is going forward and the limb is going backward, like pushing back. Next, we have quadriceps gait. So quadricep action is needed during the heel strike. When we do heel strike, quadricep action is needed as discussed earlier, and foot flat also when there is flexion movement acting at the knee. So quadricep weakness or paralysis will lead to buckling of knee during gait and thus loss of balance. There will be buckling of knee. Okay, patient can compensate this if he has normal hip extension, plantar flexion. So if they have like normal hip extensor, plantar flexion, they can compensate. How compensation work? With quadriceps weakness, the individual may lean forward. They will lean forward over the quadriceps at the early stage of stance phase, as weight bearing shifted on the stance leg. Okay, by leaning forward, what they will do is the COG shifted forward, and the line of force now falls in front of me. Okay, this will force the knee backward into extension. Since quadriceps is weak, they cannot extend the knee. Okay, so they'll push it back into extension and then they'll move the normal part. As you can see, he's pushing it so that knee gets into lock position and extension position. Next, we have high steppage gait. It is normally foot drop gait only. Okay, so here individual appears to be stepping over an imaginary obstacle. Okay, initial foot contact is typically made with forefoot and entire plantar surface of the foot. Fine. Impairment, there is marked weakness of dorsiflexor, resulting in foot drop, possibly following injury to common peroneal nerve or hemiplegia. So it is also known as steppage gait, and this type of gait occurs in patients with foot drop, as discussed in the previous slide. The foot drop, why does it occur? Due to weakness, paralysis of dorsiflexor muscle due to injury of the muscles and the peripheral nervous system or nerve root supplying the muscle. What patient will do is patient will lift the leg high enough to clear the flail foot of the floor by flexing. Okay, see what he's doing. He's flexing excessively hip and knee and then slaps down the foot. In order to clear the foot from down, hip and knee must be excessively flexed. Okay. Here we have the, just look at it. Okay, the last we have scissoring gait that leads you to spasticity of bilateral adductor muscle of hip. Here, one leg crosses directly over the other, with each step like crossing the blade of scissor. Mostly it happens in cerebral palsy cases in children. So this is the video. It was really hard to find. I had to spend like 3 days of search. Okay, so this is all about GATE. Thank you very much for attending. So do follow us in our social media handles and subscribe our YouTube channel. This video will be posted in our YouTube channel by tonight only.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
So if you all have any questions,